I'm Judy Zelina. This is the Millcreek Government Channel. Thank you for joining us again today. When we think of the Humane Society, we immediately think of a place where we can go to adopt a pet or to drop off a lost animal. Although they do provide these services, there is so much more at our local Humane Society. For over 120 years, they have served as a safety net for relinquished, stray, and abandoned animals and ensure that each animal is treated with compassion and given the best quality of care. Joining us on the program, we have the Executive Director of the Humane Society of Northwest Pennsylvania, Nicole Baywall, and Nicole has brought a friend with her.
I have brought Jenkins. He is a 6-year-old Shih Tzu Terrier mix. He was actually a stray brought to the shelter, and he's gone through a lot. He came in severely matted, so we had to kind of shave him down. He's had a couple different surgeries that we've had to have for him, but he's doing wonderfully, and he's up and ready for adoption.
Oh, I'm going to tell you something. I don't know, Nicole, you walk around here a little bit. He may be adopted before you walk out.
Today, we might walk out the door and he's gone.
Exactly.
Yes,
he is
and he's
darling.
a lover, and he loves to give kisses.
He is. He's such a sweetheart. I'm so glad I got to meet him. Nicole, thank you for joining us on the program and bringing Jenkins.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
But I think what's neat is if you go to the Humane Society, you're going to meet a lot more of Nicole's friends.
Yes, exactly. And they are all of our friends. And we work really hard to show a lot of compassion and a very gentle touch to a lot of these pets because they come in all different shapes and sizes and all different circumstances.
Okay. Now, Nicole, how long have you been with the Humane Society, and actually what brought you to this position?
Sure. So I've been with the Humane Society about 1 year and 4 months, so not too long. But I've been an animal lover since I was a small child. I've always been rescuing pets and bringing them home. And one of the things that really struck me was I was the development director for a zoo in Alaska. When my husband was in the military, we lived in Alaska, and it just kind of fell into my lap. And I loved every single day walking through the Alaska Zoo because all of the pets there were orphaned or injured. So they weren't pets purchased and placed into a zoo. They were all orphaned or injured and told a story.
Really? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, you should look up their mission statement.
Okay.
It's the Alaska Zoo in Anchorage. And it just called to me. And I would take walks through the zoo. I got to walk some of the wolves. And it just, again, it spoke to me. It was something that I was very passionate about. And all the while, I always loved cats and dogs. So we moved back to Erie, and I really just wanted to do something. I'd gotten my master's in nonprofit management, and this fell into my lap, and I wouldn't change it. I absolutely love what I do, and we make some great things happen at the Humane Society.
Well, I'm really excited to have you in the program because there really have been a lot of new things implemented, a lot of fun. You've been having a lot of fun with the position and getting the word out about the services that you provide.
It's an absolute blast, and I have an awesome team, and I have an amazing board of directors, so they really let my creativity flow.
Okay.
And my staff...
That's important.
Right. It really is. And my staff, they back me 100%, and so these things that I come up with, it's usually a team effort, and we take something small and we expand on it and make it bigger, and it makes it successful. And it's just an awesome thing to do for these little guys here.
Now, where is, again, to our viewers, I'm sure most of us know where you are located, but where are you located, and also your hours?
Sure. So we're at 2407 Zimmerly Road, and that's right off of Interchange. And our hours actually vary a little bit, so I would encourage people just to check out our website because our Monday and Tuesday hours, I believe, are from 12 to 5. And then Wednesday and Thursday, we're open from 12 to 7. And then Friday, we go back to the 12 to 5 schedule. And then on Saturday, it's 11 to 3.
So it's best just check out the website or even Facebook, correct?
Yeah, go to Facebook or go to the website because just hearing the variations, people may forget. So you can check us out at www.humanesocietyofnwpa.com or find us on Facebook at Humane Society of NWPA.
Okay. Now, Nicole, say I'm a new pet owner, just purchased a pet or just bought a pet, just adopted a pet. What are the 2 things that every new pet owner should do?
So I think, like you said, whether or not you rescued a pet from a shelter or you bought a pet from somewhere. I always encourage adoption. I don't encourage really going to breeders, or if you do, you need to do your research. So the biggest thing is our pet overpopulation is astronomical. If you adopt from a local shelter, most of the shelters are spaying and neutering their pets. at the Humane Society, all of our pets are spayed and neutered.
Okay,
So
all right.
spay and neuter your pets because that's going to help with their health, and it's also going to help keep that pet overpopulation down.
Okay.
In addition, I think you need to do the research on the breed of pet that you want and what your family life or your lifestyle will allow. So always make sure you have the ability to afford vaccinations, spaying and neutering, the care that they require, because they do require care.
Right.
And then really know what your lifestyle is going to allow for. If you're working 12-hour days and you're a single person and you're not going to be home, it might not be the best fit for you at this time. We see a lot of people come in that say they have to surrender because they can't provide the time that these little guys need. And it's hard. It's like, to us, we look at pets as our family. And, oh, are you caught, sweetie? And we really want people to think about it responsibly so then they don't end up in a shelter.
Well, they are family members.
They are.
So when you think of any other family member, they all need care.
Absolutely.
They need time, they need care.
They have all of the same
Right.
feelings and emotions. Like even this little guy, he just wants to snuggle up and give kisses. And that's where we are strict with our adoption process.
Right.
And we always encourage people to look at local shelters because these guys already have a little bit of a history and they just need some love.
Nicole, the Humane Society of Northwest Pennsylvania, you are an open access animal shelter.
Yes.
What exactly does that mean?
Sure. To be quite frank with you, an open access shelter means we will never turn away a pet based off of our space capacity. So if a pet comes through our doors, we will, if somebody cannot take them and they've gone to the other local shelters that will say, sorry, we're full, we can't take you, we'll find space. Whether it's placing them in a foster home or looking at other rescues, we'll make it work for them. But we do have a euthanizing policy. We do put pets to sleep. It is not based on space or capacity of the shelter. The reason that we would put pets to sleep at the shelter is based off of behavior and health. So
Okay.
every pet that comes through our doors are temperament tested. They get full workups and evaluations, medical exams, so we can know what their health is. So if they're terminally ill, we would think about putting them to sleep based off of their illness. I mean, there could be pets though that maybe are not, they might have a heart murmur, and we can work with them and we can get them the care they
Right.
need, get some blood panels drawn up, and find them wonderful homes. We did that with a dog that we had. She was at the shelter for 6 months. She had a grade 3 heart murmur, horrible skin condition, and we took her she hit rock bottom, and we brought her back up to health, and we placed her in a family or with a woman who is a retired police officer. She's absolutely wonderful. And Callie, the dog, is living the dream now. So we really do as much as we can
Okay.
with what we have. But the really great thing about the Humane Society is we will never turn someone away.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know about when you do
Yeah.
have to put an animal to sleep. It's not because of space.
No, it's not.
I think
because
that's a misconception sometimes.
It is. It's a misconception that is unfortunately spewed throughout the community because of rumors or
Right.
maybe what was done in the past. I do not operate that way. Our shelter is we take every pet and we take their lives into great consideration, and we do whatever we can to have them placed in happy homes. But I will be honest, there are some really unfortunate cases where we get horribly aggressive dogs that have been in maybe have attacked children, have attacked people, or I get an order on my desk from a judge saying that these dogs have been deemed dangerous to the community and that they need to be put to sleep. And that's where I really have to make difficult decisions, and that's not always my decision.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Okay. When a pet comes to one of your shelter pets, they come to the Humane Society, what services do you provide?
Sure. So sometimes a pet is surrendered to the shelter by a family.
Okay.
And they have provided wonderful services when they were in their home. So some pets come to us and they've been spayed, they've been neutered, they're up to date on vaccinations, but something has happened in the home life and they can't take them. So we then would basically temperament test them at the shelter to see if they do well with food, if they do well with rawhides, do they like children, do they like cats, do they like other dogs? So we do our own temperament testing. We will always get a fecal because we want to make sure that they're not coming in with any parasites.
Okay, right.
But if they've already been up to date on things, we can place them up for adoption fairly quickly.
All right.
Now, if they come in as a stray, like little Jenkins did here, little Jenkins came in like a ragamuffin, even a little more ragged than this. But he's a good boy.
Jenkins is a darling.
He's darling. But he needed to be neutered. He needed to have all of his vaccinations. We didn't know anything about him. So that takes a little time. That's not something where we turn them over and get them up for adoption in a week. We let them settle in. We let them, because their nerves are very high strung in a shelter environment. So we let them get settled in, we get to know them a little bit, we give them a little love, and we get them neutered, and we get them up for adoption. And they're all vaccinated, spayed or neutered, and they all receive their rabies, and they will be microchipped when they go up for adoption at our shelter.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Good. How many pets do you usually house at one time?
So we can house about 150 pets at the shelter, but that number varies quite substantially, because we receive, for example, we have a kitten nursery, and we have a kitten nursery with 10 kennel spaces in the nursery, but in all 10 of those kennel spaces, there's not just one kitten. So we have a couple moms that are nursing that have 9 kittens.
Okay.
So in our kitten nursery, we could have 50 kittens at one time. Does that make sense? Because they're all in their own kennels, but they're a litter. And it's the same thing with puppies. We get a lot of, moms, nursing mom dogs with their babies. So you might have 9 puppies and a mother in one kennel. So we can have the capacity for about 150, but we usually exceed that. And then we place a lot of pets into foster care as well.
Okay. What is your philosophy on finding pets new homes?
I would like to say that we're actually probably one of the strictest shelters in the area, especially given some of the high-profile cruelty cases that we've had. I'm going to use an example for that.
All right.
We had a cruelty case more recently where we removed 4 dogs from a home on Cherry Street. The home was just so uninhabitable, covered floor to ceiling with feces, and we took 4 yellow lab mixes out of the home.
Oh my God.
So what we really do is we have an application. People can fill out the application, but on the application, we are screening, do you own the home? Do you rent the home? Do you have a fenced-in backyard? How many people live in the home? Do you have small children? And then we take that, the needs of the people wanting to adopt, and we apply that to whatever pet they're applying for. And maybe that pet, and we'll use Jenkins as an example, doesn't like small children, and they have a 3-year-old. So that's where we'll say, I'm really sorry, but he does not do well with small children, and we try to place them or even help them. Maybe they're interested in a dog. We try to work with them to say, he might not be a good fit, but let us work with you to find a good fit.
Okay.
And in some cases, we will even say, with the Cherry Street dogs, we need to do a home visit. We need to go to your home. We need to see how your home is. We want to see the pet that you're looking to adopt in your home, interacting maybe with your other pet, before we can go ahead and sign off on adopting it out to you.
Well, I like that you do that.
Yeah, and people get angry with us. I mean, I'll give you another really good example. We have people that come to us that have 5 dogs, 3 cats, and they want to adopt a tiny little kitten. And we say to them, I'm really sorry, we don't feel comfortable adopting because this kitten came in feral, and we really feel that it needs to have a little bit more one-on-one attention. And then people get a little angry, and I'm very strict with our policies, and we reserve the right to place any pets with whomever we feel it's going to provide an environment conducive for their well-being. And that's something, I ask people to respect, because we do get to know them very well. And sometimes people feel like we're being mean. It's not that. It's that we learn so much about them when they're here, and we learn to love them, and we learn what they need.
You have the experience.
Yes, we do.
I mean, you've actually, like you said, you've got to know the different pets, like Jenkins. You know where Jenkins is going to be able to flourish.
And that's not even, so even me, I know all about Jenkins, but if I were to go back and talk to my kennel staff that see him probably every moment of the day, they can tell me just as much. And so when people come in, they do viewings with one of my kennels employees and the family. And so I might go in, and I try to do this pretty often. I go in and I introduce myself and I meet the family. I see what they're like, but then I look to my kennels and my cattery staff to give me some feedback too.
On what they see with their interaction with the animals.
Yes, because they're the ones usually that are out walking these little guys, and I get to know them, but they get to know them even more. And that is hugely important, and I really encourage people to respect that too, because we're just trying to do the best that we have we're trying to do the best that we can do and making sure that they go home to wonderful families.
Okay, I want to talk about something exciting. You've got some expansion in the works, don't you?
Oh my gosh,
Can you tell us about
I
it?
can tell you all about it. I am absolutely thrilled. We are opening a pet wellness clinic right next door at 2433 Zimmerly Road. We have a tentative opening day of January 13th.
Okay.
We are working with the wonderful architectural firm Weber Murphy Fox.
All right.
What a great team. I can't say enough great things about them. But if anybody takes a drive past, the shelter, looks next door, we are in active motion. We have, we're doing all of our renovations. The building will be done probably the very beginning of January. We'll start taking appointments for spaying and neutering and vaccinations. Probably early December, and we'll be ready to rock and roll in the middle of January.
That is exciting.
And it's
that
a
really
need.
is.
It's a need.
But one thing that I liked is you call it an affordable pet wellness center.
It is. And so this is something that we will actually be doing a little bit of screening on. We have some wonderful, wonderful private veterinary practices, and our mission is not to take away from the business of these private vets,
right,
but it's to provide services to people that adopt pets that most likely might not be able to afford a $350 spay.
Okay.
And so we will be looking at people's income. We'll be asking for some certain documentation. And to start, we'll only be open 2 days a week. We'll be open Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays will be mainly for feline spays and vaccinations. Thursdays will be for canine. It's a new venture. We're just starting up. It's
so you're taking baby steps.
Baby steps.
And then grow from there.
But it's a need because the Anna Wellness Clinic operates a beautiful, a very wonderful, practice. But what we were seeing was a lot of people from the community were calling us and saying, can we schedule a spay or neuter? And we say, I'm sorry, we don't offer that to the public. We only do it for our shelter pets. And we'd give them the Anna Wellness's number, and they'd call us back and say, well, they're booked through whatever date. And so we're seeing that they're doing so many great things too, and
right,
that there's a need. And
you need more.
We need more. Mm-hmm. And I think for us to be able to offer that as well, it's really going to serve a great purpose in our Erie community.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about, you also have an animal cruelty division, don't you?
And we have been, our animal cruelty division has been operating for over 30 years now. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, my chief investigating officer, Lisa Stiles, she has seen it all. I mean, she has been through so much and has seen so much in our community. I mean, she gets over 2,000 calls a year that we go out on. And
over 2,000 a year?
She'll get 2,000, whether or not we're going out on it, but she'll get calls that she follows up on.
To check into?
To check into.
Oh my goodness gracious.
And I will tell you, I will go into her office and there is a stack. And more so recently, the cruelty in the community is on the rise. I mean, we recently went into a home on West 28th Street and took 7 pit bulls out because of alleged pit bull fighting. And it's just horrendous to see some of the things that people think are okay to treat or do to these sweet little angels. Do
you see some behavior that is considered animal cruelty that the pet owner really doesn't realize that they're doing anything wrong?
Yeah, in some cases people are unknowledgeable, and that's where we really do pride ourselves on education. Okay. So Lisa will go, she'll give them information and education and ask them to maybe correct a mistake. So
that's what it is. Maybe they are making mistakes, not realizing it.
So like animal cruelty laws, like Lisa would tell you, is she'll go and check on food, water, shelter. And that's very different than what the animal enforcement officers do. They're there to animal enforcement officers are there to talk about or to make sure that the people in the community are safe. So they're there to make sure that pets aren't running at large. Mm-hmm. They aren't barking. There aren't any noise ordinances. There aren't any bite cases, things of that nature. Our animal cruelty division for the Humane Society, Lisa's there to protect these guys. Mm-hmm. Okay. And we do find that people are just uneducated in the way of they don't know that they have to, if their dog is outside, they have to have food, water, shelter. Okay. So she'll go and she'll say, sir or ma'am, did you know that? And sometimes they're like, oh, I didn't know. And she'll provide them with that information. And then the efficiency is corrected. Okay. And then there are some cases where people know exactly what they're doing and it's illegal.
Yes.
And that's where we have to go ahead and
step in and you remove the pet.
Right, but we will be hosting an animal cruelty forum.
Okay.
On October 6th. And it's from, October 6th. I had to think about that. We have a lot going on. From 1 to 4 p.m. at the Tom Ridge Environmental Center.
All right.
And it is actually going to be a panel discussion. And it's going to have Representative Bizarro. He'll be talking about Bill 869.
All right.
It'll be our Chief Investigating Officer from the Humane Society, the Investigating Officer Brian Carroll from the Anna Wellness Clinic, or not the Anna Wellness Clinic, the Anna Shelter. And then the animal enforcement officers from Millcreek and Erie.
Okay.
And we are going to answer some tough questions. We are going to do a presentation on the case that we had with the Cherry Street dogs, showing the footage from inside the home. So I encourage people to pay attention to things and let us know if they have questions, and we can tell them how they can help us try to get stricter laws.
Okay. Great idea, too,
Yeah.
by the way.
Thank you.
Nicole, now I know you host a number of amazing fundraisers
Yes.
throughout the year.
Yes.
What do you have in the works?
Okay, so I am just absolutely elated to talk about, we will be celebrating our 125th anniversary of serving the Erie community in November of 2017.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It is just, I am so privileged to be able to work at this organization, and I'm even more excited to announce that we are going to host a charity concert.
Okay.
And we are bringing the Gin Blossoms to Erie to perform as our headliner for the Humane Society's 125th celebration.
I remember the Gin Blossoms.
Yes. Yeah,
I do.
They're a cool group. I mean,
They are.
The band now, I've been talking to the manager, and they are some really cool guys. They really love our mission, and they have signed on, and come here, sweetie, and are ready to come in August and perform. So I'm going to be really busy with my staff and my board of directors.
Where is this going to happen?
It's actually going to happen at the Humane Society. So we own.
Oh my gosh.
We own property next door. We own several acres, and we'll have a stage, and we will be set up and equipped to hold a concert.
I am going to be there.
I know I will.
I will. I can't wait. This is a great idea.
So we had an event called Wolfstock last year. It was its first year. I love you too. I love you too. And it was so successful. But then we started talking, and I said, we need to do something big. We need to do something big to celebrate the service that we've provided. Mm-hmm. And it's huge. And so they approved for us to go ahead and book this band. So we'll still have the festival. It'll go from 11 to 4.
Okay.
We do a Battle of the Bands competition. The winner of the Battle of the Bands will actually open for the Gin Blossoms.
Love it.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast.
Fun day.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Now, all of this happens with volunteers also, right?
Yes.
You have a big need
We have
for
about
volunteers.
200 volunteers right now.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And you've always got something for everybody.
Yes, always.
So if someone's looking to volunteer,
please.
Not to worry, Nicole is going to find a place for you.
We will. I mean,
Believe
you can come in, you can cuddle cats, you can walk dogs, you could do administrative work with us. We always have a need.
Okay. All right, Nicole, I want to ask you, how can we as a community, how can we help you?
Sure. So you can help us in a number of ways. You can foster a pet. You can volunteer at the shelter. You can make a monetary donation to these little guys. We have a couple different accounts. We have a monetary donation set up for pets with special needs and to overall just help the overall shelter. You can also make sure you spay and neuter your pets. That helps the community. So look at the number of things that we have going on. Visit us on Facebook or our website, and call us if you have questions.
And Nicole, I'll tell you, you guys do an absolute wonderful job. And also, has Jenkins been a good little guy here?
You know what? He has been. He was a little, I got him out this morning. He's a little rambunctious. And he just seems to be loving life and loving the cameras. So
a star is born.
A star is born. Maybe he needs to go home with you.
I knew she was going to do this.
Yep, that's what I do. That's what I do.
Nicole, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely.
There is so much going on. Viewers, honestly, you have got to check out their website. Any questions on anything that we've talked about, or one thing that I think is so important is if you're observing any type of behavior that you think may be animal cruelty, give them a call.
Please.
Yeah, they'll definitely check that out. But then you have to go to the fundraisers and look at Facebook. They'll let you know everything that's going on, right?
Yes, our tickets for Gin Blossoms will be up for sale soon, so please plan on coming to our charity concert.
Okay. Again, Nicole, thank you so much for joining us. It has been a pleasure talking with you and meeting you. And Jenkins, it has been an absolute pleasure. I don't know if you can go home with me, but I'll tell you one thing, he's tempting.
I know. Thank you so much.
Okay, viewers, thank you so much for tuning into the Millcreek Government Channel. And again, any questions, give them a call. And until next time, have yourself a wonderful day.
You're watching the Millcreek Government Channel, powered by WQLN Public Media.